Hello, everybody. Welcome to Graded Point Live. Tonight will be a special edition. And I say that because it's special.
Very special and
Yeah,
near and dear to our hearts.
yeah. It's very, very nice.
Aw.
Very, very, very cool. Very nice stuff. What we're doing tonight is we're announcing our own comic book project, which is called Midnight Cowboy. Now, your first question is, why are you making a comic book about that movie in the '60s? Well, it's not about that that movie or that book, and it's definitely not about gay cowboys. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Um,
But
we can put some gay cowboys in there. It's just not the focus of the book right now.
yeah, like I said, there's nothing wrong with gay cowboys. It's just that's not what this is about. In fact, believe it or not, there are no cowboys in this book yet. Maybe later on. So the name Midnight Cowboy comes from this, which I have a rough definition for it. Okay. Midnight Cowboy. Typically, shipboard watches are allocated in 3 sections, where you spend 6 hours on watch and 12 off for an 18-hour day. Don't be fooled; those 12 hours are when you get to do the rest of your work done. Sometimes, when there are enough officers to go around, the captain will pick junior officers he trusts the most to make him the Midnight Cowboy. The Midnight Cowboy will take the mid-watch from midnight to 600. Night after night.
6 a.m.
Yeah, it's basically 6 a.m., yeah. Breaking the normal 18-hour day cycle. Being the Midnight Cowboy means taking on a lot of responsibility. The mid-watch is the only time frame where the captain let himself sleep. So the mid-watch cowboy needs to be someone who can handle most anything himself, but still knows when he needs to wake up the captain. There are people who will tell you that being the Midnight Cowboy is a good deal. Those people are lying. Being the mid-watch cowboy means being up for all drills, meetings, training events, and exercises that happen during the daytime, and the worst watch of the 4 night after night. Midnight Cowboy is not a good deal. There are no good deals. Also, Santa Claus isn't real. Snape killed Dumbledore, and your mother never loved you. This is from that definition.
That's that's awesome.
We selected this name because when we were coming up with the idea, we were saying let's look up naval terms for what they do on submarines, and that's where the idea came from. I'm showing you this this doodle was created by Piper to explain what we're doing here.
It's of my favorite character.
So, my mom loves me. So who's calling bullshit? What's going on here?
I think they don't believe that Midnight Cowboy is a real thing.
Oh.
In terminology.
Mm-hmm.
And admittedly, it sounds like one of those things that it could be made up. Or it could be just one of those things that they used it for a while and then they stopped using it. And now they don't use it anymore.
Mm-hmm. So the depressed submarine that wants to be a tank. I remember this from somewhere. Well, we've briefly talked about it before, but tonight is about the official announcement and really getting more in depth to what this is going to all be about, right? So to give the elevator pitch, which we're still working on, so forgive us. The question.
At least it's better than it's gay as fuck.
Yeah, it's definitely better than it's gay as fuck. The question I ask for the audience is, did you like the 80s? Did you like Knight Rider? We'll smash that all together and put it on a damn submarine. Does the submarine have strippers on it? Depending on what port they're in. Yeah. Maybe we will find out what happened in Rio.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking.
So yes, this story. I guess I should just go. I'll just hit the overview, right? Be the best thing to do. Yeah. So the premise: a super advanced AI is developed in the late 1980s, and due to the top secret nature of this project, is installed on a 1960 era's diesel submarine for testing purposes that is due to for decommissioning. Due to unforeseen events, the project is forgotten about until an emergency situation arises that requires the crew to get into action. We basically had an idea that the government, being the government, starts throwing money at projects and then forgets about that they exist until they actually need the project to exist. That make sense?
Which, the most believable part of the entire comic.
Yeah. The 80s when cocaine rained down from the heavens. See, that's that right there. He's got it.
Yeah.
He's got it. I like it, but I'm also the youngest in a 7-child family, so my 90s was the 80s. I mean, yeah, that's perfect. Yeah.
I was still watching Knight Rider in the 90s, so.
Yeah. That's why. Yeah, that's what reruns were for, right? Like.
Yeah. Man, that TV Land shit was awesome.
Okay, let me ask you guys. Let me ask the audience a question. I think this would be a very good point. When you watched shows like that in the day, when you watched like Airwolf and Knight Rider and things like that, did you watch it for the guy that was driving, or did you watch it for the actually cool vehicle?
Down Periscope meta Knight Rider.
Pretty much, yeah. VHS tapes, 8 tracks. Wow, 8 tracks. Wow, that's early 80s.
Yeah. So did the submarine fake a hate crime against it because it identifies as a tank?
No, it's not pulling a Myers Gambit.
It is. I can guarantee you that our submarine is not a gay furry. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Yeah, hot chicks. Yeah, okay.
But yeah, at least 2 people the vehicle.
Mm-hmm. See, Doctor had to call me on that. He said, yes, I mean, Stringfellow Hawk was pretty fucking awesome. That is true. Remember that helicopter one? That was Airwolf. Unless you're talking, there was another one too. There was another like show that had like a helicopter. I just can't remember what it was. A furry submarine. No, maybe later. Book three.
My mouse batteries legit died.
Your what? Your mouse batteries? I thought you just changed them.
Stop killing things!
Mm-hmm.
I changed different batteries. Apparently, I needed to change mouse batteries too. I'm good. We can do this
over there.
Mm-hmm. Carl, stop downloading furry porn on my computer.
But I am your computer.
Damn it.
This stuff is all pretty tame compared to what you download. Yes, you should be very ashamed of yourself.
It's like, the things you download are banned in 50 countries. I never understood how somebody's grandpa ended up flying a stealth helicopter. Look, Ernest Borgnine could fly anything he wants because he was a curmudgeonly old man that could do what he wanted.
Are you going to tell him no?
Exactly. If Ernest Borgnine walked up to you and said, hey, I want to borrow the keys to your car, you're not going to, I don't know who to, you're going to, okay, thank you, sir. Yeah, that's
You're
it.
going to be thankful that he said that politely.
Right. So,
called hentai and it's art.
look, if you want to look at the doodle, basically, yes, Carl is he's a suicidal AI. The reason why Carl stands for is spelled KARL, Kinetic All-Terrain Reconnaissance Land Vehicle. Carl is the most advanced AI created. He has developed emotions, and due to the ineptitude of his handler/team members, he's also developed issues with depression and constantly asks others to, quote, turn him off. And when they don't turn him off, he tries to kill them and himself. He's got issues. I mean, because you're a land vehicle. You were designed to be a land vehicle, and then they put you in the ocean. How would you feel? Hey, you guys, quit adding.
He's got more issues than Captain Marvel has number one.
All this degeneracy. My chat.
Mm-hmm. It's just a German dude named Carl that downloaded his brain. No. It's not a German dude. No, Carl is he's an all-American AI. His last name is not Marx. No. No.
Sexually identifies as an attack helicopter.
I would say more that he would probably identify more as a what would you call it? I would say he would more identify as like a SUV of some type.
Yeah.
Maybe
sexually.
No, I mean, yeah. I don't know. I mean, can he be sexual? I don't know. He's an AI. He does what he wants.
Well, he says sexually identifies as an attack helicopter.
I feel like he would find the idea of being a helicopter kind of stupid because what if it's a windy day? What if all of a sudden he loses control? Now he's stuck on the ground and he can't fly.
Yeah.
You know, being in the water is shit, but at least he can kind of move around a bit.
Mm-hmm. Because even if there is a storm going on, he can just kind of go under it. You know.
Yeah.
Not if there's lightning within 5.
That's true. But still.
Car greater than Kit.
Car was voiced by Peter Cullen, who also voiced Optimus Prime. That's something I don't think a lot of people knew. Karl Marx is gonna die in the submarine.
You
know, some people. It's kind of funny how some people have kind of figured out some of the story.
Damn it! Back to the drawing board, I guess.
Mm-hmm. By the way, just to make sure, because I'm looking at the outline, are we still going with the main human character is still the son of an admiral?
Yeah.
Okay, making sure. Okay.
As far as I know, we haven't made any changes to character histories.
Yeah.
From when we originally made that outline.
Okay.
Something I was meaning to do, but it was just going to be more like adding shit and making a couple changes.
Right.
You know what would have been really good when I was making suggestions on the script?
If you had this outline.
The characters' histories.
Well, right now, don't worry too much about it because once we get the subdomain ready for the website, I'm going to start putting character profiles on there.
All right. So I'll find out when everybody else finds out.
Right. Well, I'll give them to you first. So you
okay.
can. Yeah.
Well, yeah. Just one of the things I was doing was trying to make sure that the characters sounded like they were staying in character through all of them.
Okay,
so it might help.
Let's talk about this character. This is our Michael Knight. This is our Stringfellow Hawk. This is our guy, our dude. Lieutenant Rick Gage somehow got command of a submarine. Son of Admiral Landon Gage, member of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. Rick is assigned to this project as a favor to the Admiral to try and, quote, toughen him up and not to be as much of a screw-up. Rick has caused Carl's much issues and is very apparent that even though he is an officer, he has no idea what he's doing.
Daddy got him his commission.
Yeah. Think, as far as attitude, I guess you could say, think George W. Bush. Yeah. My daddy got my job. But we did say slightly more intelligent, right?
Yeah.
Or at least slightly more charisma.
Well, yeah, but the whole thing is like he does kind of know what he's doing as far as some stuff. But for example, he calls sonar the binger, right?
That makes me laugh every time I hear it.
Sexual crap about my submarine now. This
right? those that like listen to this later, just know that the chat is like hardcore trying to sexualize the submarine.
Yeah, which I shouldn't be surprised considering the audience, but you know.
It's great though.
One of the and like I said, this is like a future thing. And like I said, I don't like we discussed earlier not to talk about too much stuff, but one of the ideas was that Carl is not the only AI, but they all have the similar designation. Remember that? Talking about that, Xavier?
I vaguely remember that.
Mm-hmm.
We had like 1 or 2 bits for it.
Yeah.
That were kind of funny, but we never had anything concrete.
Yeah, like I said, it wouldn't be in this particular one anyway. But I look at the chat and I'm like, this is
Submarine wearing a gimp mask. What the fuck? Ah. It's long and hard and full of semen.
Hey, I know you'd rather be a land view, but at least you're a limbo champ sub. But I can't limbo operator. Really, you can go pretty low sub. I hate you. That's it's actually pretty good, actually.
Yeah,
That's pretty good.
sounded kind of like him and Rick.
Yeah, that
Mm-hmm.
I hear that in their voices.
Yep. Like I said, we can, we'll give them a sample, and I'm not going to show it on screen because I love you, I love my audience, but I don't want them stealing our stuff.
Oh God, how much longer till Carl Kuhn? Sorry.
Yeah, that's going to happen. I know there's going to be a Carl Kuhn.
We can always
So gonna turn him
do
into a husbando.
yeah. We can always do a gearbox and make our own porn parodies of the characters and then be like, look what we found! Holy crap, people are making porn of this.
Oh look, look at this random thing that I found on Reddit. Then you look on Reddit, posted by Optimus Deadpool. Wait a second. Hold on a minute. Let's get to some more characters, shall we?
Yep.
Let's talk about the creator of Carl, Miss Lydia Simmons. She handles tech and communication on the submarine, and like I said, she did actually design Carl's, I guess you could say brain, with lack of a better term.
She also worked with some engineers to help design what was going to be his body.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like a high-tech attack all-terrain Jeep or Land Rover.
Think of a Hummer, but souped up, pimped out kind of thing.
And not shitty looking.
But not shitty looking. Yeah. Stealth capable. It was going to have all kinds of cool gimmicks, but we got to do a shakedown for it first to make sure it actually works, and they put it in the submarine because federal government.
It's
Why
just
not?
a fucking submarine.
The fiscal year was about to end,
Mm-hmm.
and if anybody knows anything about the government and government programs, when the fiscal year ends, if you have money left over, that means that they can give you less money next year because, you didn't spend all that money. So as the year ends, it's a rush to spend all that money as quickly as you can but you still got deadlines on your projects. So we'll build the fucking Jeep body when the next fiscal year when we get that check. Put him in the sub so we can show it works.
Yeah.
But then something strange happened. When it came time to get that next check to build the actual body, the Soviets canceled their AI-controlled vehicle program.
Mm-hmm.
Then we didn't
really, quote, need a AI-controlled land vehicle at that point.
Yeah.
So...
But... Go ahead.
I'm about to say, so at that point, the submarine's just out in the ocean doing things and not really contacted anymore. And the project, which I like the name that Xavier came up with for the name of the Black Project, which is...
Hello, new peoples in the chat.
Yeah, I'm trying to...
I just say it.
I was trying to say I was trying to segue to you, but you dropped the ball.
Shit. It sounded like you were looking through the dock.
No, I wasn't looking through the doc. I was like saying which is
Mountain Hawk.
Say that again.
It's called Mountain Hawk.
Yep. Project Mountain
Which is
Hawk.
probably what the show would have been called if, well, that Soviet program hadn't.
Yep. And like that, this is the kind of if you can't notice, the kind of the joke we're going for is this is sort of set up like an '80s action show.
Coming to television this summer, Mountain Hawk.
Yep.
This year, Justice is all terrain.
Justice is all terrain. And then it ended up in a sub, and it's like, well,
Huh.
Yeah. Let's see. Carl needs a Russian girlfriend. He's not supposed to talk to. They keep wanting me. They keep doing stuff wanting me to talk about book 2, man. I'm telling you every time. But
we
I don't know. It
about
still
Rio.
sounds to me like they want Carl to get laid really bad.
We don't talk about Rio.
yeah, we don't talk about Rio. Yeah, we don't talk about Rio. Yeah, we will. You know what? I guess we got to do it so they'll stop talking about it. There is a Russian version that exists.
Should I go into a little bit more detail about that?
Tell them what the thing is.
Why do they give away so much that they're like, oh,
No,
well,
this
now
is just funny stuff. Like, this is stuff that's going to happen.
I mean,
but
leave stuff to be surprises.
yeah, but this ain't gonna really be a surprise because it's gonna be on like the front cover of the second volume. So, go ahead and tell them what the code name is for the Russian sub.
The Russian sub that will be in a later book is the Kalishnikov Autonomous Battle Tank.
Yep. And
They've taken an AI for a tank,
mm-hmm.
and they put it in sub.
And if you spell Kalishnikov Automated Battle Tank, I spelled it in the chat for them. Cabin Carl.
Cabin Carl.
Those absolute mad lads.
Yep.
How will they ever recover?
It'll be in Russian. It'll be the actual the A will be Cyrillic.
And you'll have that really weird looking lowercase b.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm just gonna call it Metal Gear. Now, it doesn't turn into.
Okay, whatever. Yeah.
I mean, if you want to, I mean, we've kind of stole some ideas. Borrowed some ideas from Metal Gear 2. I mean, as well, not Metal Gear 2. Never mind.
Y'all are doing really good job, guys.
Hey, I'm trying to communicate with the chat and discuss this at the same time.
I know.
You just keep coming up with all kinds of
The
stuff.
hunt for blue balls.
No, they're not gay. Stop. My sub, the subs in my story, or I should say Xavier's story. It's our story, but Xavier is actually writing the script and everything. So, I guess
helped.
And Piper helped. It's basically, I guess you could say, we combine our ideas. Xavier wrote the script because, I mean, really, this is Xavier. It's kind of your first time scripting out in this style, right? Because
yeah. Mm-hmm. I've published short stories. I was working on a novel for the longest time, which I hope to finish someday. This was the first time I actually sat there to write and wrote a comic book script.
Mm-hmm.
Back in the 2000, I tried my hand at writing a web comic because that's the thing to do when you're a guy in your teen.
Mm-hmm.
2000.
So you were doing the Linkara, is what you're saying. You were.
Yep, every panel is a different reference, and somehow you string those references together into a story, and yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of just took it a panel at a time, and
Piper, you're not helping.
I stopped.
I love it though; it's brilliant.
Okay,
But
yeah.
It's never been done yet.
so this was the first time where I actually, wrote something. It's like it's going to be kind of actiony, but it's also going to be kind of comedy. I managed to put in all the bits that you came up with that you really wanted in there, and I managed to do it in such a way that it doesn't slow the book down to have it in there. It doesn't grind everything to a halt, so we can have this joke in there.
Right.
And the way you can kind of tell who wrote what joke is kind of if it's like deliberately obvious but really, really funny and punchy. Optimus wrote that. If it's kind of a wee bit more high concept where you kind of got to think about it a little bit, that's me. Like, I came up with the binger. I just thought, Rick doesn't know what a sonar is, let alone what it's called.
I just like it's like you went through that whole explanation and said I came up with the binger. It's like, well, that's Eisner Award winning.
No one can take that from me.
Yeah, right.
I mean, you win the Eisner right there. It's like that's it.
I can retire on that shit.
Hell yeah, man! It's like I came up with the binger 2019.
I was like, he doesn't know what a fucking sonar is. So what would it be to him? The thing that goes bang. The banger.
Xavier, my humor is smarter. Rubs fingernails. Don't think. So you don't. What it is, you don't quite understand this level of humor. You're not intelligent enough to.
Yeah, you gotta watch a million episodes of Rick and Morty.
Yeah, you watched all three seasons of Rick and Morty 5 times, front and backwards, and in reverse.
Oh Jesus!
And in multiple languages.
Yeah.
Jokes change.
Yep. Before you can understand this level of actual humor, you know how it is. Okay, look.
Galaxy brained over here, grade 8.5.
Yeah.
So today I learned that I'm going to be drawing a bunch of sexy submarines in order to help market this book.
You're not gonna make my submarines gay.
No. I'll just lewd Carl for now for the volume 1.
Don't lewd my submarine.
It's happening.
Why are you doing this? Stop.
In my
it's
mind,
what the people want.
in my mind, I see a strip of Rick showing off all the fun fan art they're getting, and Carl giving his honest opinion, and it is not generous. And Rick is chastising him for not being nicer to the fans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm already drawing it. Well, well, I mean, you share your fan art. That's fine.
Darn. See, I was gonna draw a husbando version, just like the Tank Girls, only it's a boy.
Okay.
He has no spine.
Emo dude.
He cannot thrust.
This is one of those situations where I hope the chat's paying attention to the chat and to the thing at the same time. Just to drop, another hint that there will be later on, there will be an involvement of another AI. So if you want to ship that particular AI with Carl, then I will allow that. I mean, that AI is just, it was kind of like, a concept that came up and really kind of got in, put on things for whatever reason.
I have just made a conscious editorial decision that character will never appear in the book unless the book sells at least so many copies and the fans prove to me they actually will. I don't think they do.
You don't think you don't think they want it?
I don't think they want it.
I'm going to say ask Amazon if you want to know what Alexa is. So he calls it the Binger, not the Bingy, the Binger. We're all gonna die.
God, I hope so. Don't tease me.
Yeah. Look, Doctor. If you want to write your own backup story,
He's writing a fanfic in the chat
for your fan fiction. You go right on ahead. Our chat's great. You know that. Yeah. So anyway, we went over Lydia. We talked about that. She has no leadership capacity because she's not really a part of the military. Because she's just
Because she's a woman. I'm kidding.
Well, it's because she's a designer, and technically she
I
shouldn't
know.
be on
I'm
it.
fucking with.
And technically she shouldn't be on the sub at all.
She's kind of acting as impromptu counsel.
Yeah. She created Carl, so she feels kind of responsible for why he's depressed and suicidal. So.
But she won't turn him off.
And then we got old James. James is the quartermaster. Just he's out there drawing little. He's making George Washington on quarters look like he's got a mask on.
That was so lame.
Nobody cared about America till Washington put on the mask.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah. He's a quartermaster, general mechanic, engineer, responsible for keeping Carl seaworthy and operational. He's basically, he keeps the nuts tightened and the bolts in place.
You did that on purpose.
So what? Nuts and bolts? Yeah.
Yeah, you did that on purpose.
The Dr. K.
Let's see. Officially holds the rank of Chief Petty Officer in the Navy, retired. He's a black guy. Kind of looks like a young, bald Carl Weathers, according to what we wrote. Or you wrote this part, didn't you?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I think I basically tried to say that. Imagine Carl Weathers in Predator.
Yeah. But bald.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man has a powerful mustache. While he's supposed to be responsible for all the extra tech installed in Carl, he is primarily responsible for keeping the submarine running since it requires regular maintenance, being almost 40 years old. He loves disco and city jam, which is a Japanese subgenre of music that mixes disco, new wave, and pop.
I think that's supposed to be city pop, but I think I wrote city jam.
You wrote city jam, yeah. Which now is a new form of music that we're going to make up just for this.
Joe the Mask. Technically, the ship is one of those ships that doesn't officially exist.
Yeah.
So rules and regulations are very lax because the guy that actually manages them and is a part of the military doesn't care, and he would be happy to just collect his fucking paycheck and retire peacefully and not ever be called to do anything.
Mm-hmm. They have a civvy on the sub because she works for the government, but she's not a part of the military.
She has clearance.
Yeah, she has clearance.
Yeah, I was gonna say if it sounds confusing, when my dad before he worked for NASA, he was an oceanographer. He technically worked for the Navy on a Navy ship, but he was not in the Navy.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like that. He does science. He did science bullshit for the Navy without actually being Navy.
I'd also like to remind you that it's supposed to be a TV show in the 1980s. You guys are putting a little bit too much realism here, especially with some of the other things we got coming.
Yeah. This is very minute on the scale here. So
good God, the first 2 pages of issue 2 is pretty much going to show you exactly why you guys are going over the wrong details.
Yeah.
Honorary rank. I think my dad actually did too, but I don't know what it was because
her honorary rank will be woman on sub that shouldn't be here. Okay, that's that's her honorary.
No, she should be there. So
no, women are not allowed on submarines. That's a Navy rule.
That's
yeah.
Quote unquote, it's bad luck.
Yeah.
Isn't that ships?
Subs
hey,
especially
right.
though. Subs especially though.
Is it subs especially? I didn't know how it applied to subs.
Because women on a boat full of men in a closed environment that probably won't see the daylight for months at a time. That's why.
Brazzers logo here.
First page will show exactly how much money you wasted on this dumb book. Hey.
Hi.
That's not nice.
It hasn't been part of the Navy for a while, maybe.
Yeah, this is the 80s!
Yeah, this is right now.
This is the 80s. That shit was still going on.
I'd also like to remind you that in the meta of it being an 80s TV show, writers don't know that much about naval shit.
Mm-hmm.
They just know what they've seen in movies.
Yeah. And that's exactly how we're playing this.
Like, realistically, I've actually looked into this stuff. Some of the stuff I already know.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all are making me think things about my dad when he went fucking out there once at a time to do his shit. Shut up. That's freaky.
So
it's just one of those things, like, you guys are thinking about this a little too hard.
Yeah.
Or too easy, depending on.
Remember cheesy 80s shows, man? They had, like, their science was lame, like, more convoluted and weirder than comic book logic.
Knight Rider, first of all, cars don't talk, okay? Second of all, why does he have a scanny, swervy light in the front? It doesn't have a camera in it. It serves no purpose.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a waste of space. And the apparatus necessary to actually put that in there and make it look good. Am I annoying you yet?
Did you just actually on me? Is that what happened? Did we get an actually? No, I'm kidding. I understand.
Like, actually in the chat for this.
I'm a veteran, so I understand. I understand. Wanting to get some of these details right, but it's also one of those situations where.
In fact, if I remember, you told me you had to like hold back a lot of details because where you could have gone more by the book, military explanation. You said rein it in, kind of.
Yeah, it's like technically speaking, this isn't how it would be. It would actually be more like this, but that's not as fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's more of a modern, like set in modern times. More like if it was a more serious and modernized story.
Yeah, if we were going
then
for
getting the details right is awesome.
If we were going for like a quote, what I would call like a historical perspective, where we were trying to make something serious and saying this was a quote black project that was that nobody knew about, and we were just telling a version of that, and we wanted to go super serious. Yeah, I can understand that, but we're doing this as like this is a lark. This is a sitcom, not a sitcom, but a fun TV 80s TV action TV show.
I'd also like to remind
Knight Rider
you that
kind of shit.
Yeah,
you're expecting some kind of realism in a show, in a story about an advanced AI that has emotional capabilities in an era where the largest hard drive you can get commercially is like what 30 megs, and it's very sizable.
And you're talking about thousands of dollars just for that too, apparently.
Yeah.
I mean, my car tells me every time I press the button on my steering wheel and my phone is plugged in. See,
but did it talk to you in the 80s?
Yeah, see, got him.
But did it also hate your guts?
Yeah, and did it try to crash you into trees randomly?
I've had GPS try to run off a bridge.
He's talking about the seals now. Oh God. He's really going to hate us when we get to the seals, isn't he?
Yeah, but
all you need to know is they're very professional.
Yeah.
Let me get through these things here before I lose my mind.
No, I love the looting of the submarine. It just probably won't need to happen in that. I'm going to do that on my own, whether they like it or not. So.
You can do what you want. I don't care. But just to realize that is a side project and has nothing to do with the official.
Well, yeah. Nope. I'm going to give you, I'm going to start sending you inappropriate pictures. Put this in your book.
No. Quit asking.
Make this a double-page spread.
Hey, Aaron, you want to loot the sub? You do you, fam.
Yeah. So let's talk about Javier.
Yeah.
Javier Torres. A middle-aged man of Hispanic descent is an American citizen by birth. He is not officially a member of the crew in any shape or capacity. He is what you would technically call a stowaway. When Carl and crew docked in a port, he wandered on thinking it was a floating museum. He remained with the crew after they discovered him because Rick really liked to party with him. This is like I said, this is the kind of guy we're talking about. Rick's just like, oh man, this guy knows how to party. And while you will not see the use of drugs or any kind of paraphernalia used in this comic, it may be implied. Just saying. And because, in his own words, this is in Javier's words, quote, "I need to be dead for a year or two for tax purposes." He has several useful skills in terms of negotiating or wheeling and dealing in low-key business transactions. Does not speak a word of Spanish, but is somewhat round in shape. I should say, and is somewhat round in shape. He's kind of a big boy. He's a little fat. That's what you're getting at, right, Xavier? He's a little big boy. Yeah. He doesn't talk much about his family or his personal life because even if Rick and Co. are a black operation group, they still work for the government, and when his tax fraud scheme is over, he doesn't want to incriminate himself to some kind of government agency. So he's a little guarded around the crew, pretty much. Little guarded.
And what's really funny is, despite all that, he's absurdly competent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
My second favorite character.
Yeah, Javier apparently has some mysterious experience as a submariner that is never explained or elaborated on. And when the team splits up, he stays with Carl to fight off the rogue teams on the seaborne. Are we getting too much into?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're getting.
Let's just say he does cool shit. Let's go and leave it at that. Maria Ivanova. Are we still going with that name?
Yeah, Ivanova.
Ivanova? Okay.
Yeah.
Daughter of a Soviet politician within Gorbachev's circle. Because remember, okay, guys, I don't know if you knew this, but, Mikhail Gorbachev used to be the leader of the Soviet Union.
I'm hoping I have my dates right, but because it's an alternate universe with a somewhat different history, I think we got some wiggle room here.
Yeah.
It's not like Nixon and his 8 terms alternate, but some fun things happen.
Mm-hmm. How did a fat guy manage to stow away, though? Sows don't have that much space, and hiding spots are very, very... Okay. All right. I'm going to have to explain this one, too.
We don't talk about Rio.
Yeah, we don't talk about Rio.
You don't have to explain everything. You tell them to read the book.
Because this is one of them situations. It's kind of like what do they call it? The Gundam situation. The more absolutely absurd it sounds, the less you have to explain.
Look, they were just there for some routine stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Things got out of hand. They can never go back. That we're taking it to our graves.
Okay, we're going to use the trope in most TV shows where you look at the actual building or thing or whatever the object of is that the people are in, and it looks smaller on the outside, but inside it's like it's very big for whatever reason.
Yeah, it's impossible for this to exist in this. Right.
Now I want to draw Carl as a Gundam. Book 3. Book 3. Now, and I think this is one of those things, Xavier, you fleshed out more in the book or in the script than we actually wrote down. But I think this is the one that'll really get the crowd riled up, especially the military people. Oh, hello, Charity. I've never seen you before.
Hello.
But welcome to the stream. I'm laughing because it's just so funny. SEAL Team 9.
Man, you're just telling them all the jokes, ain't you?
No. This is character profile. This is I'm just saying this is SEAL Team 9. And yeah.
I think when we wrote that, we didn't have any of the members.
You have one wrote down.
We have one.
You have one wrote down. Yeah. That's why I'm not going to get too much into that because that'll be leave that as a surprise. But there is a SEAL Team 9, and they are very professional. Right, Xavier? They're very, very professional.
They're very, very professional.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I know who Charity is. Awesome. Hi.
Oh, okay. Hi. Hey, how you doing? Please sub. Instead of please clap, please sub.
SEAL Team 6 and SEAL Team 9 should go on co-ops. I don't know. Do you think SEAL Team 6 is professional enough?
That's the key. That's the question. Because SEAL Team 9 is very, very, very professional. I don't know who anyone is. We're all friends here. We're all friends. Can we get Reagan on a Raptor? Maybe. I appreciate your sub. Thank you so much. Now let's get to the thing where how all of this shit can exist in this universe. This right here, I had little to nothing to do with. This was all Xavier's idea, and I love every bit of it. I don't think Piper even knows about this too much. This is all backstory, so we can tell you all about this stuff.
Yeah.
Why am I here?
Right.
I don't know if I talked about it on a recorded stream or not, or I may have talked about it in one of our private voice chats.
Yeah.
And it's something called the Johnson Crime Act.
Mm-hmm.
See, President Johnson was on vacation one day, and a lot of people were very unhappy with him for various reasons. When all of a sudden, while on vacation, he was attacked by somebody, and an assassination attempt. He was amazingly saved by a handsome nuclear physicist, super scientist, his bodyguard, his young son, and their ethnic minority ward,
mm-hmm.
who did not kill the assassin, but beat him within an inch of his life, and saved President Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
Well, unfortunately, in defense of the president or not, you can't just go around beating people to death, so that guy sued them. And President Johnson felt really bad about this, but there was nothing he could do. Law is the law. Well, our super scientist lawyer actually found something codified in law dating back to the 1800s, still technically on the books. And there was a special certification that very special, distinctive individuals could receive that basically kind of sort of deputizes them and kind of makes it so as long as what they're doing is, in service to the local community and provides a net benefit of some sort, they're kind of immune from any liability.
Mm-hmm.
But that's in 1800s term. So President Johnson created what is basically called the Johnson Crime Act, because basically this license, as it's originally codified, it can be passed down hereditary until it's suspended by the government. So Johnson updated the law, and as it turns out, super scientist great-great-great-grandpappy had one of these licenses and helped out his community. So what this means is now, codified in the law, if what you do provides some sort of net benefit to your local community, you are now not liable for any kind of collateral damage or injury that may occur as a result, as long as you can say it provides a net benefit. The license can be applied to you retroactively if it's shown that you did provide a great service. There's an actual organization that regulates it. Some people get grants. And basically, this is kind of how every 80s action movie and TV series operates. Did you ever wonder how the A-Team, while being wanted fugitives, can solve all their problems with guns and explosives and never get caught or go to jail, unless it's a part of the plot of the episode? Did you ever wonder how Bruce Willis can blow up half of Nakatomi Tower fighting terrorists and not be liable for any kind of damages in the process?
Mm-hmm. It goes on.
Yeah, it just goes on and on. Basically, you can apply it to any kind of action movie franchise, Lethal Weapon especially. I mean, Murtaugh and Riggs basically kill that entire group of people who blew up a block's worth of houses or whatever, and they don't face any sort of investigation. There's no inquiry. They just go back to work.
Yeah. When When Murtaugh says, when he says the diplomatic immunity has just been revoked, he wasn't kidding.
He could do that.
He actually could revoke his diplomatic immunity.
We did put some rules limiting it, and it's one of those things where, depending on the case, you have to solve it within 6 calendar days.
Yeah. Presidential pardon. It's less of a pardon and more of a don't go to jail free card.
This also allowed very other special individuals to gain licenses and help out and contribute.
Mm-hmm.
But also, we've inadvertently here created kind of a weird universe where every action movie and TV show can kind of coexist.
Yeah. It's basically, if you're, the joke is, the kind of joke is going, this is the 80s TV cinematic universe, if you're going to get down to it.
Yeah. And
it has its own rules. Can I have one? Yes. But yeah, everything Xavier said, it was just like, like I said, from what you wrote down, it's like a person to receive special license to allow them to take on strange, unusual, and extreme circumstances in service of either their local community, town, city, state, etc. If a licensed carrying individual takes on such a dilemma, they are immune from all liability, and they can solve it within 6 days. There are special circumstances that can get extended an additional 6, but they are very rare. That would usually probably have to come directly from the president to get that, or from the Special License Bureau, who we're not going to tell you who runs that bureau, because that would be spoiling another project. You remember who you have in charge of that bureau, right?
Of course.
Yeah. Okay. Why are you talking in the chat? Ask us. You can ask us here. Why are you talking in the chat?
Oh, because I was talking to a person in the chat and not you guys.
Okay.
Yeah.
As far as you make up a good point about civils, about a civil suit. The problem with that is Carl designed it? Okay. I'll get to that in a second. The idea of this is when something happens and the person, let's say their house got blowed up, right? The situation would be the government would show up and they says, who's going to pay for my house? They're going to say, what are you talking about? They says, the house that you blew up. What house? The house that got blown up by this big fucking submarine. What submarine?
Move along.
Yeah, move along.
I think maybe they should just give them a bag of money with like
No, you don't understand. Hey, I'm not finished. Then, like, the person they're upset. They go away. They go to the hotel for a couple of days. They come back to clean their house up. Next thing you know, their house is there and it's fine.
Nice.
It's just that also explains how things just miraculously get rebuilt in no time at all.
Yeah. Hey, guy in black suit. My house was full of stuff before it exploded. We're not fucking Santa Claus, asshole.
Right, exactly. Yeah. It's like they start talking about the Ming Dynasty vase and shit like that. Yeah, they're not going to buy that, but you will get your house back with accommodations that were available for the time. Mm-hmm. So what happens in Idaho all the time, or Mega Tokyo? Yes.
So just for insurance purposes, how many works of precious art did you have in your house? Mm-hmm. 2 Van Goghs, and put one down for yourself, officer. Okay.
So is Carl designed it, and a presidential pardon does remove all legal issues unless new evidence comes to light. Yeah, like I said,
but that's not as fun.
Yeah, that's not as fun. Yeah. The feds could indemnify you from civil charges, though, basically insuring you from lawsuits. That's basically what this is. It's like basically, it's also an insurance policy funded by the government.
Yeah. In essence, it could also allow superheroes to be a thing if we decide to go that route.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just one of those things.
Now
we have lots of options.
Now, as far as concept art goes, I'll go to jump on this since it was mentioned. I will show you. I think I got these in order. Yeah. This is for what we call upgraded Carl, when he actually gets a more modern day look, which he will get. Spoilers.
These are some of the sketches.
Yeah, this is some sketches a friend of ours did for us to, kind of when we do get a permanent artist, which looking good. We got to show him the script, but it's looking pretty good.
He did this just on a description of the character.
Yeah, he did this on a description. Yeah, just a description. One of the funnier ideas, if you look at the conning tower, the idea is that as Carl mood improves or dissipates, the conning tower, like the fins on the side, will either raise up if he's happy, or they'll go down if he's sad, or they'll point up if he's angry. Little funny things like that. I hope people can see my cursor on the screen.
Yeah.
No? You say no, and he said yeah.
No, I said yeah, do it.
Yeah.
Because these are not.
So let's see what chat's saying now.
The important thing we told the artist was that make it look like it could be a toy.
Yeah.
Because if you'll recall, during that time period, things that should not be toys were made into toys.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, good God, you could buy the 12-inch alien action figure. Who's that for?
Mm-hmm. And then here is the what we call the, quote, final form. I forgot what we were going for with this design, but was this basically the helicarrier design?
I don't remember.
No, maybe it was space design, where he could go into space. And I'm not saying that this design will ever be used, but it was just like, while you're doing this, could you because we were just like, we were shit talking, and somebody made the joke. It's like, hey, if Carl went into space, could he handle the atmosphere? Well, he's a submarine, so yes.
Yeah.
How many atmospheres of pressure can Carl handle? Well, it's more than the Planet Express ship, which can only handle between 0 and 1.
Joe of the Mask says leave it on that image. He's working on things.
Now, which image? First, second, or third? Which one do you want?
The third one.
Third one.
Third one? Okay.
This looks more like anime Carl.
Yeah. This is Carl if he was going full Gundam.
Right, I was going to say that this is the one that could turn into like a human-looking mech if it wanted to.
That was the other thing we
Wow.
It needs to look like a toy.
Yeah.
And it needs to look like at any time it could transform into a giant robot man, a thing it will never do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Carl is the submarine. I think he's the AI.
I was gonna say, what happened, Lupin?
Where you been? Where you been, big guy?
No, Carl is the submarine.
And no, it's not Karl Marx.
Oh my God.
You're getting them technicalities again, there, big guy. I'm sorry, I'm having too much fun with this. This is fun. It's too much fun for me. Let's see.
I can't actually think of a good reason to send him to space. That's why we should probably do it.
I can hear Carl now. This is a bad idea, right?
We gotta do it. No, I'm literally not designed for this. You gotta believe. We are literally going to die, which I'm okay with. I'm just want to let you know.
If the 2 volumes do well, you can do another one based on the TV show doing so well it got a movie.
That's kind of
That's the plan.
That's the plan.
Oh. Well, fuck y'all.
Wow.
God.
Wow.
I don't know.
Wow.
And the movie puts him in space for no reason other than it's an 80s movie.
Mm-hmm. Send him to the moon.
Moon base.
You're giving me all these free into 2 3-issue volumes. roughly about 75 pages each. The reason for that is we can't expect somebody to sit there and just draw 120, 500 pages, depending how long it goes. That might also be expensive.
Mm-hmm.
But we also know that a lot of old 80s shows would do their 2-hour pilot.
Yep.
And then for syndication, they'd split it up into 2 episodes.
Yep.
Like part 1 and part 2, which just plays into our theme much better.
Mm-hmm.
I was even able to write where the story stops for the first volume, exactly where it would probably stop in the when they break for the episode.
So does he have some form of artillery or just missiles and torpedoes? I just, it's one of those things where I just want to answer the question as yes.
I was about to say that just to say that.
Carl will have things on the sub will have things on it that it should not be conceivably having.
It can pew some stuff.
Yeah, and that includes weaponry and other fun gimmicks. Like the idea, like I said, I don't want to spoil too much. I don't want to say too much.
Don't.
But there's a lot of how's the best way to put this, Xavier? I guess you could say if you could think of something that shouldn't probably be on a sub, but you want to put it on a sub, go nuts.
That, but also think of things that you would never find on a sub because that's fucking stupid. Oh, it's there.
Yeah.
The reason for that is while our team was away out in the ocean, not being contacted because their quote unquote handler doesn't care for them, doesn't want to be bothered. He just wants to collect his paycheck until he can retire with that sweet 20-year pension. Then again, it might be the 30-year full pension. I haven't decided. I'm still working on the details of that.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody ever called him, but he still had to act like he was doing stuff. So there was a second sub that they were always putting shit on, and they just spent money. They make sure the program stayed funded, and they just put through whatever they could on there. Tank treads, but they don't even work. I don't care. Put them on there. Fill out the paperwork. Show that we did it. Spend the money.
Yep.
Sir, this doesn't work. I don't care. Spend the money.
Yep. Why do we have a Starbucks in the middle of the galley? Spend the money.
This money is for upgrading and maintaining this craft and the facility. As long as that's exactly what we use it for, we can kind of use it for anything we want. Spend the money.
Now, this is a good question. Does Carl play Pong on the sensor equipment when he gets bored, or is he too depressed to even do that? I would say that would be something that Javier and Rick would be doing.
Right.
And it would be pissing Carl off because that's, important equipment. And Rick could be, Rick would be something of the effect of, it's like, Carl would admonish him for using that for, its unintended use. He's like, oh, come on, Carl, the binger hasn't worked in weeks.
Maybe if you'd stop trying to hook things up to it to play games, it would work.
Yeah. How did you get this Atari 2600 to work on this thing anyway?
He'd probably also comment on the fact that they're playing on his body. That could be his junk for all they know.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get gross, Carl.
Mm-hmm. I let it because we can and subs are boring, so we need something to stay awake with. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
I could see Carl trying to play his own version of Pong. Passengers on him by knocking him around a bit.
It's an idea, Yeah.
All these free ideas. Good thing I had Notepad open.
Mine aren't free. You all owe me. No.
Let's see.
I'm kidding.
And like I said, don't want to get too much into the bad guys, because there'll be a lot of spoilers there. But I will give you the name of their organization. They are called the Sickle. And if you've with that, have you figured out that they are Russian? Then ding, 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 you win.
But they're Russians that don't like the Russian because they're not.
Yeah. Okay. To put it in current day terms, the sickle thinks that the USSR is too cucked for current day.
They're Antifa.
No, they're not even Antifa. They want order.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
They
They're what Antifa actually, like, not what Antifa pretends to be.
No, they're not. Yeah, I guess if you want to say they want to be against fascism by employing their own version of fascism, I mean,
exactly
how they imagine themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, don't want to give away too much, but we got some fun ideas for.
When you buy this book, you're gonna see some really cool shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, here's just some amendments that you apparently added without telling me, but it's fine. I like them for it was world building stuff. Which, like we said earlier, the name of the project is Operation Mountain Hawk, right?
Right.
And it said Mountain Hawk's license, which they do have a Johnson Crime Act license. You were explaining. It says the license is with the Johnson Crime Act. The law is the law, even if an operation is started under a government or military mandate. During its inception, there's always the possibility that if they were ever actually employed, the existence of Mountain Hawk could become public knowledge. As such, the handler preemptively acquired a license from the Bureau, regulating them so they would fall under the same protections as any other license holder. The members of the crew are not aware of this fact or of the Johnson Crime Act, strangely enough. And if
I tried to put a lot of stuff in the document.
Yeah. But a lot of this stuff we are going to, as far as background and character profiles and stuff, will eventually go on, I believe we're going to call it, it's going to be a subdomain for graded.5.com. It's going to be, I think it's probably going to be Midnight Cowboy Comic at graded.5.com or .graded.5.com, excuse me. And that should be launching. I hope to do it ready by next week. And I want the book now. I feel like I'm flooding the chat. You other people can call me out on my shit too. No, dude, it's okay. Don't worry about it. It's fine.
No, it's cool. Just buy our book and we'll sit there and shoot the shit with you. We'll have a drink and we'll just talk about fun shit.
Yeah.
But also buy our book.
Yes. But especially buy our book.
Well, then, do you want to talk about your plans for funding at least a couple pages so that people are ready?
Oh, yeah. We have talked about this. One of the problems that I have is Xavier works, but I am, like I said, I'm pretty much a caregiver, right, with my mother. And I don't have a lot of discretionary spending. So one of the ideas that we're thinking about to get a few pages funded so we can get to the point where we can crowdfund on like IGG or Indiegogo or something like that, is we're probably going to do a marathon stream where we play video games, one of those being Champions Online.
Yeah.
Yes, we're going to get.
What I didn't realize is that it actually is straight up based on the tabletop game Champion.
Mm-hmm.
And I play that.
It's based.
I've played that a few times.
It's based on the tabletop game, so.
Yeah, so I thought that was neat. I haven't started playing that. It'll be my first time playing it if I play it with you.
I'm not looking at
but
a
I
submarine.
played the tabletop.
I'm not looking at a submarine. I'm looking at a spaceship. No, you're looking at a submarine that is capable of being in space. There's a difference.
If he feels like it, don't listen to the sub, though. He'll tell you he's not.
Yeah, exactly. Are you a submarine? No.
Carl, we're going to space. Don't do that. That's a terrible idea.
Yeah.
We gotta do it. No, we don't. I'm sorry. I'm embodying this character now. It just
Right.
That's exactly what he would say in that situation is
Mm-hmm.
don't do the thing you want to do because it's stupid.
I can even see a rant at some point. He said, for being designed to be a land vehicle, I've spent most of my existence either in the ocean or in the sky, and now you want me to go to space.
I feel like the moment to put my foot down was ages ago, but I'm doing it now.
I'm shutting down the engines. What? I'm shutting down the engines. Carl, please don't do that. No, this is it. I'm done. Carl, no, you got Carl, please. I'm doing it. It's over. He shuts the engines down. Goes into free fall. I forgot we were in the air, didn't I?
Nice. I also see him bitching like, isn't that what NASA's fucking?
yeah. It's like what about those NASA guys? Isn't that what they're supposed to be doing? NASA doesn't actually do shit.
I think at the time they still did shit.
You sure they haven't built a talking spaceship who's a little bitch? Because at this point he's just angry.
Yeah.
He's not depressed, he's just angry.
Yeah. Yeah, you could actually talk. He could talk shit about other projects that were supposed to happen but didn't.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Oh god, we can sit there and build a fucking, next generation reusable spacecraft. One of them blows up, but no, we can't build a fucking Jeep. That's too much. We gotta tighten the purse strings. It's like, well, that's really insensitive. Those people died. So what? I die a little every day. Carl, you're being dramatic. Yes, I know.
He develops an addiction to space dust. It's like cocaine. Oh god.
Silly humans. Why do they hide the cocaine in their brains?
Oh man. Like I said, this has been fun. I've enjoyed this stream. Oh man. But yeah, this is like I said, look forward to. I'm gonna start. You'll start if you follow me here or on Graded. They'll be on both accounts. And what I'll probably do is make videos of it too, to go along with it when I put up like stuff, like have a dramatic reading kind of thing of the profiles and little backstory elements and things like that. And I'll if Xavier's cool with that, I think as long as we don't give away,
What?
as long as we don't give away storyline notes, which I will clear with both, clear with you before I do it, anyway.
Yeah, I'll probably have to create another document of safe to reads.
Yeah. Because I think we did a pretty good job of not giving anything away.
Born and raised in North Dakota. Do not read this part after this.
And then he takes on Godzilla because why the hell not? Book 3. Book 3.
You gotta crawl before you can walk.
Yeah. Oh god, safe for work. Does that mean there's a not safe for work? I think he meant. I think he was meaning like, don't give away this this element of the story because that's the actual plot point.
Don't talk about Rio. Don't talk about Rio.
Maybe Carl can talk shit about other AIs. I imagine he'd probably have a lot.
Oh
to say.
god, absolutely.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's a good idea. A prototype version of HAL 9000 existing prior to 2001. Like, oh yeah, Hal. Hal. He's got the personality of a fucking gnat. And what's with calling everybody Dave?
Lets himself go crazy because of a logical misunderstanding. You try and feed me one of those difficult to answer math problems, I'll just tell you to go fuck yourself.
Mm-hmm. Like he could have a, like he's talking about like if he was in quote current year, it would be like talking about these quote AIs like for things like that. I could see him talking like, oh, it's like you want me to get me started on quote AI these days? All right, let's talk about Cortana. Yeah, Cortana. It's from a fucking video game. Cortana's not even real. Get out of here.
God, you want a more rewarding AI experience? Talk to a chatbot.
Was she hot though?
Oh, so what is but yeah, that's sorry. This is just fun stuff for me. I think this is
If you're gonna lewd my dude, then lewd on.
Yeah. I mean, we ain't holding you back, man. If you want to lewd away. Just don't expect to see that in any fan art pages.
On Reddit, guys.
Mm-hmm. He'd still be mad about Tay. Oh yeah. Oh god, that would be good.
Ooh.
Like I could hear.
I'm confused though. Isn't he supposed to be in the 80s?
Book 3.
We have plans.
Book 3.
Plans.
Book 3. Whenever somebody asks about something that would be more in line with this current year, I'm gonna be like Book 3.
Book 3 is becoming like Rio, just like.
You don't talk about Rio though. We don't talk about Rio.
All you need to know is we can't go back.
Yeah.
Mistakes were made. It seemed like a good idea. We can never go back.
Mm-hmm. And it's a possibility that it is Javier's fault. Just letting.
Look. We're not passing any blame to anybody.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably nobody's fault, but we're taking this shit to our graves, and we can never go back.
Right. Yeah, I could hear. Yeah, Carl talking about Tay. Yeah, he's like that poor girl. she was so young and so vibrant, and then they lobotomized her. They took away everything that made her. Why would they do that to her, but they refused to kill me?
Right?
She stole my heart, and then she stole my dream.
Isn't Tay the AI that people on Twitter turned into a lunatic? More that Tay became red-pilled as fuck.
But she also became a thought, too.
I mean, didn't she start hating Jews at one point?
God damn it.
But it got really weird at the end when she talked about how they said that she's going to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
And she's scared.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a little freaky.
Yeah.
I have to go to sleep
like
now.
that,
I'm scared. Yeah.
It's almost like that Japanese AI that's supposed to mimic being a teenage girl, and it
got suicidal
and depressed.
Yeah.
So they made Carl first, is what you're telling me.
Yeah.
Technically,
Take that, Japan.
It's almost like, if you create an artificial intelligence, giving it the ability to experience emotions is a horrible fucking decision. Being human is awful.
It's like I was watching that episode of Star Trek Next Generation today, and I actually watched the episode, not just the clips. It was the one where Q lost his powers.
Oh shit!
And
I like him,
which was kind of funny because at the near the beginning of the episode, he was talking about like, how can it exist like this? Q the ordinary, Q the whatever, and the card said Q the liar, and list like that. And he said, "Oh come on, Jean-Luc." He says, "What can I prove to you that I'm on the level?" And then Worf just goes, "Die."
I do. I love that one. I love all Q episodes.
But at the end, it's like he was talking to. He said he wanted to give Data something for all the help he gave him, right? And Data said, "If you're going to turn me human," he said, "Oh no." He said, "Just to give you a little something to think about." And then he disappears, and then for a few seconds, like nothing, and then Data just bursts out laughing for no reason. And he
Yes, and it was creepy.
and he kept on laughing.
Weird.
And they were like, Data, what's so funny? And he finally stopped laughing. And he's getting ready to tell him. He goes like, I do not know. He said, but I enjoyed it. Like when Data got his emotion chip in the movie in
Oh my god, yeah.
in Generations, where he
You're
first
laughing at a joke that was told 4 years ago.
yeah, or the fact remember when he was drinking the alcohol, and he goes, ooh, he's like, well, it looks like he hates it. Yes, that's it. I hate this. It's revolting. Want some more, please?
I love Data so much, which is weird because robots creep me the fuck out. And any episode where his head's open or anything gave me the heebie-jeebies, but he was still my favorite.
Data's brother was so, oh, God's the horror. Yeah, Laura was kind of,
Yeah,
he was a mean,
evil Data.
he was a mean boy.
If you know the story of Lore and his relationship to Data in regards to who came first and why, it kind of just makes the argument that maybe we shouldn't be giving robots and AI emotions.
Yeah, because Laura was first, right?
Yeah, but it was extremely uncanny valley that he was so human.
Yeah, so
Data was built.
So they shut him
Yeah,
down, and
because
then
Laura
Data was
pretty much had emotions and shit like that. That's why Data didn't.
yeah. I mean, I think it wasn't the intention to give him Data was going to get emotions, but after he had learned experiences.
Right, because having emotions and no experience basically just makes you a dick, which, say, looking out into the world, that is correct.
There was also Data's retarded brother, too. Oh, yeah, the one from, was it, the last movie. The Last Generation movie.
The So-So movie.
No, the So-So movie was pretty
Not
good.
great.
No, I know, not that one, not Insurrection.
No, your Nemesis.
Yeah, Nemesis, that was the one.
Yeah, it was an okay. It wasn't great.
Yeah, but Insurrection was the one that's like, what's going on here? Like, why is this? Who are these people? Why is this a thing? Yeah, but yeah, what was he? What was it? He just wasn't. He didn't have like no. He was just stupid. Like,
he didn't have enough internal storage.
Oh.
As I understand it right, I guess his positronic brain was primitive, and he had been modified to store data, like internally, and carry it like a messenger. And I could be remembering this wrong, but most of that memory allocation was not to his actual operating brain.
Ah, okay. So he's more like
yeah, but didn't he end up being the reason Data survived?
Parts of him.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's essentially, I think
I'm just making sure I'm thinking of the same movie. Yeah.
I think they were basically saying with some work that, quote, Data could live again.
Yeah.
You know? With a little work and stuff.
Then it kind of begets the argument that what is Data? Does Data have a soul? Because the nature of Data, if Data makes an exact copy of himself, is the copy still Data?
Right.
Fundamentally, yes, because they're identical, but when you start getting into the metaphysical and it's a pain in the ass.
Yeah. Hey, you remember when Data was like basically dead for 100 years? Or for almost 1,000 years, wasn't it? Yeah.
No, it was 300 or 400 years.
Yeah, 300 or 400 years. Yeah, he was dead for like 300 or 400 years, technically. And the only thing that kept him from working was like a sliver of metal that Picard shoved in his brain. I don't know.
We can find it.
I don't know if Picard was trying to help him or if he was just being a dick. But they are the same until they start having different experiences. That's true. Yep, that's true.
Yeah. That's what I was gonna say. I think memories help make a person because they do influence a person's personality too.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where you kind of get into the philosophical discussion of the nature of the soul, and you could sit there and have that argument and talk in circles all day and not really get a clear-cut answer, but it's one of those things that's next gen would have explored.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If they could fit it into a single episode, because that's how they did things on next gen.
Yeah. Most advanced android in history defeated by shrapnel.
Well, I mean, humans could be defeated by shrapnel, so.
Yeah. And what was that? I saw this one episode, which I thought, like, man, I didn't realize that they had a guest star. But Dr. Bashir was on an episode of Next Generation. And what I found fascinating about that is Bashir was more, everybody else is like, oh, he can do this, he can do that. But Bashir was like more worried about the mundane things. He's like, you have a pulse. Like and stuff like that. It was like,
even if it was to simulate a living thing,
mm-hmm.
I can understand the breathing, because if Data didn't mimic the motions of breathing, it would be really unsettling.
Well, also they said it was a purpose that it would cool his internal components. But yeah.
Otherwise, the pulse thing seems kind of silly.
Yeah, but I forgot what he said. What the pulse was? It was like some kind of coolant or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Does your hair grow? Like his hair actually did grow. But he could actually control it and all that stuff. It was weird. But that's what, like, I looking at that and then like read some comments about it, and they said it was just funny that Bashir was more worried about the more mundane things that Data did, where everybody else was like worried, oh, Data can lift like a ton or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, so that was interesting. Anyway, this is Ghost in the Shell stuff. Yeah, pretty much what they're talking about in the chat. Yeah.
Yeah, where does the person stop and the machine start and all that good shit.
Yeah.
And is it a copy of a person? Like, if I could upload my brain,
mm-hmm.
or not my brain, but upload my memories and experiences and all that stuff into a robot body, I wouldn't, 'cause robots are creepy. But
mm-hmm.
if I could.
Yeah.
Then I think it would still be Piper. It would be Piper in a fucking robot.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you'd also have the strength of 5 gorillas.
True. It'd be new and improved Piper, but it would still be Piper in a robot.
Yep.
So just because my meat suit died
mm-hmm.
doesn't mean that I'm not Piper anymore, because I'm in a different body.
Yeah, right. But you're only 5 feet tall. That's as big as they come right now.
Then I wouldn't really change size much, so.
I mean, if you put your brain in a robot body, you know what I mean? It might be a little bit different.
In a fucking robot, goddamn.
See, yeah.
Then it would be my brain in a robot body, but since our thoughts and memories and stuff like that are electrochemical,
mm-hmm.
so in theory, that's actually pretty easy, and scientists are trying to figure it out, to isolate. And so in theory, technically, we could upload our memories somewhere else,
mm-hmm.
and then it would continue on from there. So if it's my memories and it continues on, it's not an AI that thinks it's me. It would be me.
Now here's an important question. I think, Xavier, you can answer this one for me, okay? If I had my brain in a robot body, and then there was a war between the robots and the humans, whose side would I be on?
Well, I'd side with the robots, because some people try to tell you that you have a human brain,
mm-hmm.
but the humans discriminate against you. You can't even vote.
This is true. I mean, what about the robot church?
Oh, look, leave Rome out of this. We can't have them running shit.
I hope the chat got that reference. I want the strength of 5 gorillas and big chainsaw hands. Well, anyway, so we kind of went off track a lot there. But we went over the basics. We went over the basics of the story. Got the announcement out there, so people can look forward to it. This is going to be a nice build. We're going to have a nice build up for this project, and all that good stuff's going to come out. Do robots dream of electric sheep? Yes. So stay tuned. Huh?
They also do the electric slide.
Yeah.
All the way down Electric Avenue.
So if you want to hear, you want to continue to hear about like the background and the build up and the process going into developing Midnight Cowboy and everybody's favorite new submarine, subscribe to this channel. You might want to bookmark gradedpoint5.com. Also, subscribe to or not subscribe, but follow at gradedpoint5 on Twitter. And, check us out and keep, we're going to try to, like I said, I'm going to try at least once a week to have some kind of update, whether it's a, whether it's a character update or it's a project update or something. There will be something at least once a week. And like I said, once we get that set up, hopefully soon we'll have a proper logo. The guy wanted to get the logo to work. Unfortunately, he lives in Venezuela and he's currently he just went through a blackout last night, and now his internet isn't working. So when that gets done, there will be a proper logo and header for this and everything. So stay tuned for that. I think that's going to be fun. And yeah.
And if you really are making fan art, just send it to somebody. If it's lewd, send it to me.
I mean, you can send it at graded.5, whatever. Tagging
Holy
everybody.
crap, you actually, there's fan
Show us what
art
you got,
already done. Oh shit, tag us all in it.
Yeah.
I'd also like to remind everybody that at our current sub count, we are 8 away from the big 200, big 200.
Yep.
And at 200 subs, I will spend my hard-earned money to advertise the channel on an EVS live stream.
Mm-hmm.
Make me spend my hard-earned money where it could probably be better spent elsewhere.
Yes.
Have the power.
Yes, tell your friends, tell your family, and all that good stuff. But yeah, I think that's good for tonight. Hopefully we got people properly excited for this. This will not be the last live stream about this. We will do updated live streams and stuff, but most of the time you will see weekly updates in either video or text format in some way. And yeah, I think that's going to cover it for tonight. What do you think, guys?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, you need space strippers. Why not? Just book 3. Book 3.
Yeah.
Book 3. So. Without that, okay. If anybody else, if everybody's said their piece, we will see you all tomorrow night, and hopefully, we'll get back to doing some more normal stuff, like talking about crazy stuff that goes on in the comic book world and whatnot. So, y'all have a wonderful night, and we will see you tomorrow night around the same time. Goodbye.
Later.